How you doing, supermarket? Sounds like something on your third, maybe fourth beer. I know my friend Becky is. Sorry to call you a bit. We're TimeGiant from Toronto.
Welcome.
Welcome. Enjoy.
Okay, here we are at T-Mak World, our exclusive interview with TimeGiant ahead of their North by Northeast appearance. So we thought we'd get together with these guys and find out who they are. Guys, welcome. Tell me who everyone is and what instrument you play.
I'm Tyra Muccioni, lead vocals, lead guitar, and a bit of saxophone.
A little saxophone, man. What are you, man?
Patrick Wilkin, bass player, and it's good to be here.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Watson, and I play rhythm guitar.
Thanks, Ryan.
I'm Charlie McKittrick, I play drums, and I sing a mean vocal.
So, we hear you guys are working on a new record. You have a couple of EPs out already. You're working on your latest production that's coming out soon. What can you tell us about it, Tyrone?
Well, we got some pre-production together. We did about 8 songs live off the floor. We're going to send it to a producer. His name is John Drew. He's a Juno nominated for Arkells Jackson Square, which is a great record. And then he did some work with Dinosaur Bones and The Balconies. Love that band.
Awesome. And so you're in the studio. You're still what stage in the record are you at right now?
It's still pre-production. We're not going until July, so in a couple of weeks, John's on the road with one of his bands in the UK, and then so in July we're going to start his pre-production. So getting in with him, arranging parts and stuff like that. So it's going to be exciting.
Awesome. You know, I got to say, I love the hair of these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little game. I'm going to bring out a classic rock band that had some hair, like you guys, you know. And I want you to tell me what the first thing that comes to your mind when I mention this band name is. All right? We're going to start with Charlie. I kind of thought about it, and I thought which band you guys might each relate with. Okay.
Okay.
First thing comes to your mind. Charlie, Led Zeppelin.
Powerhouse.
Tyrone, Pink Floyd.
I would say David Gilmour. He's the reason I start playing guitar, you know, those deep bends. Love them.
Ryan, Van Halen.
Jesus. I gotta say, grade 10, heading out there, went to Hamilton and caught them. I barely remember the show, but somehow we made it through and it was a hell of a night.
And who was singing at that gig? Was it David or Sammy?
What?
I guess you forgot. And Pat, how about you? I'm going to throw one for you. You're the bassist of the band. So we are in Toronto, as you can see behind us, the CN Tower. So bass Toronto, what can we think of? How about Rush?
The holy trinity of rock and roll.
Awesome.
Nice.
So tell me, you've played a bunch of gigs. You've been doing this for a couple of years now. What is the most memorable and best gig that you've had to date, and why? Tyrone?
I'd have to say our Canadian Music Week gig was, I mean, the most career-wise for us was like the biggest surprise, because we started seeing a lot of people. I mean, like you have a built-in audience to an extent for those festivals, but we started seeing a lot of people that, I mean, we had never seen before, and then they were coming up and saying, you know, how do we get in touch with you next time? We're going to start following you, and then it kind of inspired us to get our mailing list really together and really take hold and have some meaningful conversations about that and stuff. It really is about the fans, right? You can't really, I mean, you can play to the bartenders, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, to be honest, we did see that gig and we thought it was amazing, and we'll touch upon that in a little bit. How about you, Ryan? Would you agree, or did you have a better memorable gig or anything like that?
You know what? I think Ty hit the nail on the head with that one. It's definitely a great show for us as a band and getting the fans out. One of the other ones I think that really comes to mind was a couple years back now. We got to open for Robbie Krieger and Ray Manzarek of The Doors, and that was pretty cool. You know, just being old school rock and roll fans, it was nice to get out there and play with some of those guys and I remember during their set, they gave us a mention on stage, and it was kind of like, wow, the Doors just mentioned us. Okay, cool. You know, that was kind of maybe not as career building, but it was just a cool experience.
Guys, you've been selected to play the Toronto's North by Northeast Festival, which is quite an honor for a band trying to make it and trying to get some exposure. Are you pumped about this show?
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of, I think, two major festivals like this, Canadian Music Week, and then a few months later is North by. And yeah, it's great. I mean, you do get a built-in crowd again, which is a chance to shine in front of the right people. A lot of industry concentrated in bars. It's actually a bit smaller than CMW, I believe, in a sense that there's less bars, but there are more bands. So there's more industry folk trying to see more bands more often. It's like potent clubs, potent with industry people. So it's like, you know, you gotta hit it right on the head. So
yeah, and you know, honestly, speaking of Canada Music Week, we awarded you guys the gig of the show for Canada Music Week. We saw 40 bands, and you know, yours stood out the most for us in terms of energy, musical, audience participation, crowd reaction, and just a band having fun with it all. So, how are you going to top that Canada Music Week performance?
Oh boy! First of all, thank you for honoring us with that. It was great to see that.
Top our last?
Well, to top CMW. We're always trying to think of new creative ways to top the last show, even if it was playing to, you know, bartenders in, you know, Strathroy or something. But we have our rehearsals, and we try and come up with new ways to go from song to song. And the number one thing is, if everyone's having fun, you know, you go in with a mindset that, you know, something might screw up, you know, but just not let it get to you that bad, and have fun and keep smiling. Then, like, the creativity just kind of happens spontaneously. You know, it's like, I'm gonna make this crowd do something ridiculous because right now I'm really happy, because they're really happy. And it's not like, you know, you kind of go in with a nugget of an idea, like, maybe I'll chant, I don't know, some Beatles song to get the crowd into it. But then it totally evolves. That totally goes out the window when you're 4 songs in and, like, the adrenaline's pumping. You totally forget those liner notes. And we're about, like, keeping it real in that sense. So if we're having fun, then you can expect a better show.
And you know, Charlie, you're behind the drum kit. You're hammering away. I've seen the energy. I see you put your head down, and your hair's flying, hands are flying. Do you actually feed off the crowd? Do you actually look up and glance out in the crowd and see the reaction and elevate or anything like that based on the crowd reaction?
Absolutely. Yeah. I put my head down. I close my eyes a lot. I love gigs where I don't even have to look out to see the crowd, but I can feel their presence, you know. And I'm a big advocator of reciprocal energy, especially at live gigs, because it's not just the band's responsibility. The crowd, the audience, I feel that they share the load in a sense. And so when they're doing their part, we're doing our part, we're giving them everything we got, and vice versa, you know. It's awesome. And when I close my eyes and my head's down, my hair's rocking and rolling, that's where I'm in my haven, and that's like heaven on earth for me.
And Ryan and Pat, you know, we often see you guys coming up to the front of the stage, doing their headbanging. You know, you're going with the rhythm of the music and all that. How do you draw off the energy off the crowd? Does it give you strength to continue doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. Like, we just can't get enough. I'm always excited for the shows, especially if I can see even that one person who's singing along, who knows. That's all I need. Even if there isn't the one person, to get the one person eventually. But me and Ryan have been doing this together. We were born from the just down the road from each other, so we've been doing this together for a long time, just hammering it out.
And Ryan, you know, for you, when you're up on stage and you look down the crowd and you see new faces, not your friends, not the people who have seen you before, but faces that you haven't kind of picked out before come to the front. You see a lot of girls dancing at your shows. You see a lot of people shaking their heads at the show. Do you pick up on that? Do you actually feel the energy of the newcomers, people that are experiencing it the first time, and you want to deliver the best that you can?
Absolutely, man. I definitely have to say, you know, it's one of the coolest feelings is when you can look out there and see a lot of new people and they're really getting into it. And sometimes it's tough if they don't know you, they're not familiar with it. I mean, we just recently played Hamilton. We were opening for the Balconies in USS, And you know, being the opening band coming on is a big show. A lot of people come out. It's sober crowd early on, and they're just kind of going, well, who are these guys? Okay, and they don't really know. And it's neat to see as the set goes on and pick certain people out, and they're kind of going, okay, and then everybody starts dancing. Everyone's coming to the front, and you see that one guy going. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, for that guy, you know, and you can't hear him, but you know what he's saying and what he's thinking, and that's a cool feeling.
And then we feel like we did our job at that point, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Started with nothing, we got that.